I've been doing intermittent fasting every day since 2012, and in this video, I'm gonna show you 5 reasons why you should fast every single day. What's going on, guys? Carlo Macapinlac here from newbiefitnessacademy.com. I help busy professionals lose weight so they can feel more confident, fit better into their clothes, and get the most out of their lives. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the bell to get notified every time I post a new video every week. All right, let's get into it. The first reason why you should fast every day is that it changes your relationship with food completely. And I wanted to start with this because this is extremely important if you're trying to lose weight, because we are all creatures of habits. A lot of things that we do on a daily basis is honestly just based out of habits. And that includes eating. That includes eating at certain times. And breakfast is the perfect example of this. We've basically been taught since we were kids that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, right? And there's nothing inherently wrong with eating breakfast, by the way. It really depends what you eat. If you eat bacon and eggs and some avocado, for example, that sounds like a really good breakfast. On the other hand, if you just shove cornflakes, instant oatmeal, a protein bar or a granola bar and wash that down with a glass of orange juice, then that's a completely different story. Like, we are the only species that does those things, that shoves cornflakes down our throats first thing in the morning, even if we're not hungry. Like, Paleo Man didn't do that. Paleo Man didn't wake up first thing in the morning and say, oh, geez, better eat breakfast. No. Sometimes our Paleolithic ancestors would go days without food and they were perfectly fine. Like, lions don't wake up first thing in the morning and say, oh, I should probably eat breakfast. No. Again, scheduled meals are completely made up. And we live in a society where we use food as a form of entertainment. We also live in a very interesting time now where there are actually more obese people than there are hungry people. We don't have a hunger problem these days. We have an obesity epidemic. And once you start intermittent fasting and you do it every day, you take back some of that control over food, because now you are introducing a system of control. You're putting a cap on when you're eating, and it's not just a free-for-all all day. And I always say that what you eat and when you eat are equally as important if you're trying to lose weight and stay healthy. The problem is a lot of people that are trying to lose weight only focus on the what you eat part of the equation, right? They're stuck on the calories in versus calories out model of weight loss, eat less and move more. And that's what makes intermittent fasting so powerful when it comes to weight loss is even if you don't change what you eat, and you should, but then you reduce your eating window to just an 8-hour eating window, for example, I guarantee you're gonna lose weight. And once you start seeing results, that creates a positive feedback loop. You start making better decisions overall, and you start having a better relationship with food. You're not a slave to it anymore. Number 2, you should fast every day because it triggers a compounding effect. Intermittent fasting carries a lot of health benefits, like improved heart health, it boosts your brain, it increases your energy, it increases your metabolism, it improves your insulin sensitivity, and that's key. It builds your immune function, it increases growth hormones, it builds lean muscle, and so much more. And it makes you lose weight, a lot of weight. You get all those benefits without counting calories or following a complicated meal plan. Amazing, right? And there are multiple studies out there where they put a control group and an intermittent fasting group on a calorie maintenance diet. So neither of them lost weight because, again, they're eating at maintenance calories. Yet the hormonal elements are more positive with the intermittent fasting group, and they also have improved insulin sensitivity. So you know that intermittent fasting has positive elements regardless of weight loss. Long story short, there is a net positive physiological benefit when you fast. And why do I mention insulin specifically? Well, insulin is the hormone that controls your body weight. And now there are multiple studies that it's also the hormone that controls aging. Studies now show that one of the common features of centenarians, so these are people who live over 100, is that they're all very insulin sensitive. And when you do intermittent fasting every day adds up to the compounding effect of all the benefits I just mentioned, and that includes improving your insulin sensitivity. So the more you do it, the more benefit you get out of it. And this is the complete opposite of what's happening in the US and other countries following a Western diet, right? Like 70% of Americans are either overweight or obese, right? A lot of these people have diabetes, pre-diabetes, and they have a high risk of developing cardiovascular disease and even cancer. And all those diseases can be summed up using one term. It's called metabolic syndrome. And the precursor to metabolic syndrome is something called insulin resistance, which is the complete opposite of insulin sensitivity. And if you ask me, the choice becomes pretty simple if the question is whether you should fast every day. Reason number 3, fasting every day triggers fat adaptation faster. Being fat adapted or being metabolically flexible is something that everyone should be striving for if they want to lose weight and be healthy. Being fat adapted simply means that you're readily able to tap into fat stores for energy. And if you have weight to lose, that's exactly what you want. And since the adaptation of the first dietary guidelines for Americans, which came out in 1980, you know, that food pyramid where they recommend a mind-blowing 6 to 11 servings from the bread, pasta, rice, and cereal group. And if you ask me, that's 6 to 11 servings too many, which is also around the same time when the whole obesity epidemic started. Following a high-carb diet, or the standard American diet, is literally the definition of metabolic inflexibility. Now, when you start fasting every day and then you pair that with a diet that moderates your insulin levels, like the paleo diet or the ketogenic diet, you're basically turbocharging that fat adaptation process because your body will just use up all that extra glycogen during your fast. And studies have now shown that that process starts happening when you do a 16-hour fast. That's why I always say that the minimum effective dose of fasting is a 16-hour fast. So when you do intermittent fasting every day, you're getting your body more and more used to being fat adapted and achieve full genetic and hormone optimization. And I want you to think of fasting like a muscle. So the more you do it, the more you work out your muscle, the better you get at it, the bigger it gets. But again, let me remind you that there's about a 2-week adaptation period here where you might feel a little crummy, and that's perfectly normal, especially if you've been eating a high carb diet all this time. You're literally going through carb and sugar withdrawal. But the more you fast, the quicker you'll be fat adapted and the quicker you'll be able to tap into your fat stores for energy. Number 4, it helps you retain muscle. Time and time again, whenever they do studies on intermittent fasting, they all show one thing consistently. That is, the muscle retention tends to be higher with the intermittent fasting group versus the calorie restriction group. Now, just to be clear, the intermittent fasting group is also in a calorie deficit, but eaten in a specific eating window, while the calorie restriction group just eats whenever. They probably graze on food all day, you know, like 6 small meals. And when the results show up, the intermittent fasting group always shows that they're better at retaining muscle. That's because when you fast, you trigger a hormonal shift. You trigger a growth hormone response, and that growth hormone response is what prevents your body from losing muscle. There's actually a study out there where growth hormone levels can be as high as 2,000% from the baseline after a 24-hour fast. And because you're fat adapted, your body can easily utilize fat for energy instead of breaking down muscle. This is also how your body keeps your metabolic rate high because, again, you have about 100,000 calories worth of stored energy in the form of body fat. You just need to be able to access it, and intermittent fasting gives you that access. Now, when you do a calorie restriction diet, yes, you'll lose weight, but you also tend to lose muscle mass because, again, you're not metabolically flexible. So your body instead does 2 nasty things to survive. Number 1 is that it slows down your metabolism. This is why when you are in a calorie deficit, you're always tired, you're always hungry, you have no energy, and you're just completely miserable. The other thing that it does is, because it's now in survival mode, because your body is only living off of whatever calorie deficit number that you're giving it, like let's say you're only eating 1,200 calories, you can only live off of those 1,200 calories. So to make up for the difference, your body starts breaking down muscle for energy. And your body does this through a process called gluconeogenesis. You literally start withering away. And this is why the myth about you losing muscle when you fast is completely inaccurate. You know what makes you lose muscle? A calorie restriction diet. Number 5, and this might be the most important reason why you should do intermittent fasting every day, is that it gives you diet flexibility. Now, some experts might disagree with me on this, but this is how I've been able to maintain my results since 2012, and this is also how my clients achieve amazing results. Here's one of my clients 1 full year after losing 80 pounds. Again, when you fast every day, it gives you diet flexibility. Okay, in a perfect world, you have 100% adherence to your diet. You're eating single ingredient, mostly unprocessed, nutrient-dense foods. You revolve your diet around plants and animals, and you eat that way for the rest of your life. But I also understand that there is this other thing called life that happens, whether that's a birthday party, celebration, graduation, somebody asks you to go for brunch, maybe you're traveling and there's just fast food available, or whatever else life throws at you. And I always like to say that you gotta balance feast with fasting. It used to be feast and famine, but we live in a different time now. Food is literally a push of a button away from getting to your door. So you gotta balance feasting with fasting. Fasting is the perfect way to counterbalance a feast. Like, nobody likes the guy who says no to cake at a kid's birthday party. And that's the really cool thing about fasting, is it allows you to get away with cheat meals. But this isn't a give an inch, take a mile scenario. Okay, let me just be clear with that. But honestly, this is what I do. Once a week or once every couple of weeks, I'll treat myself to whatever I want. If I want to eat pizza, ice cream, wings, or whatever I feel like eating that day, I'm gonna do it. And because I've trained my body to become metabolically flexible and it's also fat adapted, I can easily get away with like a 2,000 calorie or 3,000 calorie meal. So what I'll usually do is I'll plan to have my cheat meal for dinner, so I'll do a 24-hour fast that day. And then the next day, you just get back into your normal fasting routine. So just get back to your 16-hour fast if that's what you normally do daily. But if you're feeling really motivated, I would do another 24-hour fast the day after to deplete those glycogen stores that you accumulated from your cheat meal faster. This, by the way, is how you can easily get away with a cheat meal once a week. And it helps keep people sane. Now, some people don't like using the word cheat meal, so call it whatever you want. You can call it your refeed day or call it your treat yourself day. I don't care. And think about our ancestors when they were in food gathering mode, right? They would occasionally come into honey or, seasonal berries, and they ate it, and they're perfectly fine. This concept is the exact same thing. And this is also where the 90-10 rule comes in, and that's how I live my life. So 90% of the time, you're following your intermittent fasting schedule. Again, you're eating nutrient-dense foods, and the other 10% of the time, live your best life, eat ice cream. And there you have it, guys. Those are the top 5 reasons why you should fast every single day. The next question then becomes, how are you actually supposed to eat if you want to lose weight? Because here's the thing. 80% of your body composition is determined by your diet. You can't just freestyle this part. Do you have a proven plan that you can follow? To help you with that, I want to give you a free copy of my Lean Body Blueprint. This is how I melted all the fat around my stomach without depriving myself of my favorite foods or wasting hours at the gym. It's a simple 4-step process specifically designed for busy professionals, and it's the exact same blueprint that I teach to all my private coaching clients, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. If you want to be the next success story, then download your free copy of the Lean Body Blueprint right now. There's going to be a link somewhere at the top here or in the description box. Just click on it, type in your email, and I'll send it to you right away. All right, that's all I've got. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I post a new video every week. And hey, leave a comment below if you have any questions about this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. First, a high five.